North Carolina is the hardest state to get your real estate license in, but stay positive, stay hungry, and let's get into Chapter 9, all about basic contract law. Hey everyone, I'm Sean Kelly, and this is my channel on everything real estate. For this introduction, I'm just going to say you can't live a positive life with a negative mind. This can be both applied to this real estate course as well as to the real world. With that being said, let's get into contract law. A lot of this is going to be a review or refresher from previous chapters. As I told you before, this all kind of comes together, full circle. We should all know what a contract is, but here's the definition. It's a written or spoken agreement, especially one concerning employment, sales, or tenancy that is intended to be enforceable by law. So the elements of a contract are that first of all, there must be a mutual agreement. Both parties must agree to be in that contract, and it must be of someone's free will. Second, both parties need to be competent, meaning they can't be drunk or mentally impaired, for example. There also may be a test question right here about children. Now, contracts with children are illegal. However, if you were to get into a contract with a minor, only the child can actually void that contract after that point. You as the adult are still held accountable to execute the terms of that contract. Then there is consideration, like money, time, or anything of value. And then lastly, legal purpose. So a contract must have a legal purpose, not an illegal purpose. The cops aren't going to enforce a contract with a drug deal, right? So a contract can be expressed or implied, unilateral or bilateral, and executed or executory. Expressed means that the conduct has been written or spoken orally. Implied means that actions have been taken that would give the impression that both parties are under a contract together. Think about eating at a restaurant. You eat first, then you pay later. It's implied that you're going to pay for that meal that you just ate. Bilateral means two parties are bound by the contract and are responsible for performing the duties of that contract. Unilateral means only one person or one party is bound and responsible for the duties of that contract. Then the difference between executed and executory is that executed means all of the terms have been done, it's over, it's closed. Executory still means that there are tasks left to be done. So think about what a home contract would look like. Well, first of all, it is expressed because it is oral and written. A sales contract must be in writing. Second, it's bilateral because both parties are bound to the terms within the contract. And then lastly, it starts off as executory because there's still tasks to be done. And then it ends as an executed contract when the sale is finalized. So let's cover a few things on offers. When a buyer submits an offer to a seller, the seller can accept the offer, reject the offer, or counter the offer. So once the offer is accepted and communicated back, you are now under contract. So if you wanted to withdraw your offer, you have to do it before the offer is actually accepted. If it's accepted and you still want to back out, you'll most likely have to go through the process and pay the due diligence fee. And remember, a sales contract must be in writing, as it just said, and is part of the Statute of Frauds. Remember, dream oils. In general, contracts are assignable in the US, which just means you can assign some duties to a third party. In North Carolina, you must get permission from the party before you do so. So if a contract has been breached, there are a few cures that can fix it. So first you have compensation, there's other consequences, then there's liquidation, and then there's specific performance, which we've discussed in previous chapters. Liquidated is a specific amount of money both parties have agreed to, and specific performance is a court order that forces one of the parties to perform the rest of the duties in the contract. In general, you should know that attorneys are the only ones that should be practicing law. Brokers do not create contracts, and we do not practice law. The rest of this chapter is going to focus on items that we've already kind of brushed over in previous chapters, things around your real estate license, but we'll dig in a little deeper here. So remember, there is Provisional Broker, which is what you are once you pass this test, and is someone who has not yet finished the continuing education classes. Then there is a broker or a full broker, which is someone who has passed those continuing education classes. Then there is BIC eligible, broker in charge eligible, and then there is the broker in charge themselves. As a broker, you must always carry around your pocket card when engaged in any type of real estate. So there's a test question here, and I'm going to read it so I get it off perfectly. So the card has your name, your license number, your expiration date, your license type, and signature. So I remember this exact question on the test. So they'll ask you something like, which one of the following do not belong on your pocket card? And I believe I selected expiration date on there. It just didn't seem right logically. Now doing this, okay, you get a refresh pocket card whenever you want. You just go to the website, you can print off a new one. So just remember which ones are included on your pocket card. And a good reminder here is that all contracts require your license number, the expiration date of the contract, and the seller's name. If you change your name or your address, you have 10 days to report that to the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. Additionally, if you get a conviction or you're convicted of something, you have 60 days to report that to the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. Otherwise, your license can be revoked. And here are some additional ground rules to know. So a provisional broker must always be affiliated with a broker in charge, as we mentioned before, and only one broker in charge at a time. You can't work for two different firms with two different BICs. However, as a full broker or a non-provisional broker, you can affiliate with two different BICs, and you don't even necessarily need a broker in charge unless you need to deposit some trust monies of another. Then you'll need a broker in charge. Additionally, you also can't advertise without a broker in charge, no matter what kind of provisional or non-provisional broker you are. Every single office location has a BIC and must only have one BIC at each location. So what are the qualifications to becoming a broker in charge? Well, you must pass a 12-hour broker in charge class and fill out a BIC designation form. Additionally, you must have an active license, and you must have worked 2 out of the last 5 years as a full-time agent. Now this is based off the honor system, as there's no real way for them to prove that you've worked 2 full-time years out of the last 5 years. Just try to be as honest as you can. So what are the duties of a broker in charge? So they must copy all licensees' pocket cards, and usually they display them in the office. They must display the broker in charge designation, which are the duties of the broker in charge. And then they must also notify the North Carolina Real Estate Commission of address changes, as well as getting your affiliated paperwork submitted as soon as you join that firm. And then they also supervise all provisional broker activities, like you guys, once you get out of this class, right? You're gonna need to be supervised so you don't make some crazy mistakes. They also conduct advertising, or at least supervise the advertising. They hold trust monies, and they also comply with rules and hold records. As a broker, even a provisional broker, all brokers must hold your records for at least 3 years. And this 3 years starts at the conclusion of the transaction date. I'll quickly brush through the expired versus inactive section of this video. If you need more information on this, we covered it in the introduction, and I'll have a link to it right up here. Expired means you just did not renew by June 30th or pay the $45 renewal fee. Inactive means you are not affiliated with a broker in charge or a firm yet, or you have not passed your continuing education classes. If expired, you can file a reinstatement form if you're less than 6 months expired. If you're inactive, you can just go affiliate with a broker in charge or go and take your continuing education classes. There are various types of business ownerships that you should know about. The first one being sole proprietorship, which is what most of y'all are going to be throughout your real estate journeys, most likely. So you're basically just working for yourself and by yourself, right? It's the same as if you were to go into a garage sale, buy some stuff, and then sell it on eBay just to make some extra pocket change on the weekends. You're a sole proprietor at that point. Or for instance, my YouTube channel. My other YouTube channel generates some decent money. And so with that money, I don't have an LLC, I don't have any type of corporation, so I'm a sole proprietor. And what's important to note here is that I am taxed at a regular income because of that, and I also don't have any liability protections by being a sole proprietor. Then there is Limited Liability Corporation, or LLC, which is something that you do have to file for, and this does give you some legal protections, as well as some tax benefits and some other advantages. Then there are corporations, which are owned by stock owners and partnerships. So all entities that practice real estate must have a real estate license. An entity also needs a full broker, who is someone that is also a principal of the company. So like a manager, a partner, or an officer of the entity. The firm license will become inactive if they lose their broker or do not renew their firm license by June 30th, just like if a regular broker were to not renew their license by June 30th. On to the next segment, Limited Commercial Broker's License. So this is a license for people practicing commercial real estate outside of North Carolina. This is someone who is licensed outside of North Carolina but wants to do commercial business within North Carolina. You can get one of these by filing an application, paying a fee, making sure your license is again renewed by June 30th, and then also just proving that you are licensed in another state. This license does come with restrictions like everything else in real estate seems to. First, you must actually live outside of North Carolina. You must only be doing it for commercial real estate, and you must still affiliate with a broker in charge or a firm here in North Carolina. The money in the transaction must be held in North Carolina by your broker in charge, any trust monies. And for any advertising you do, you must write, quote, limited non-resident commercial broker. Is this the fastest chapter yet or what? Let's keep it that way and breeze through this review. A contract is a set of promises that are enforceable by law. A contract is a mutual agreement between competent parties, has consideration through both money or something else of value, and it must also be for a legal purpose. Remember, no contracts for drug dealers. Entering into a contract with a child is illegal. However, if one were to form, only the child can void that contract. It is unvoidable for the adult. Express contracts are when the intentions are clearly stated. Implied contract is exactly what it sounds like. Intentions are implied by the conduct. A bilateral contract is when both parties are bound to perform the duties of the contract, and a unilateral contract is where only one party is bound to the terms of the contract. When an offer is submitted, it can be accepted, rejected, or countered. And if you want to withdraw your offer, you must do it prior to it being accepted. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay up those due diligence fees, maybe some earnest money, depends on what you negotiated on. Dream oil are the items that need to be recorded and are covered by the Connor Act, and dream oils are items that need to be in writing and are covered by the Statute of Frauds. Liquidated damages are a specific amount of money that you agreed upon in case of a breach of a contract, and remedy is the cure for a breach of a contract. Specific performance is a court order that would make one of the parties perform the duties of that contract. Real estate agents do not practice law. That is for attorneys only. Also, your license number must go on all contracts throughout this process. If you change your name or address, you must report it to the North Carolina Real Estate Commission within 10 days. If you get a conviction, you must report that to the North Carolina Real Estate Commission within 60 days. A provisional broker must be affiliated with a broker in charge, and that's probably like the 10th time I've said that. And a broker in charge's responsibilities is to supervise the provisional broker, overlook advertising, maintain the trust accounts, ensures compliancy with agency, and retains all the records. My BIC is also a huge mentor and guide to me personally and has helped me through a lot of different situations. Remember that your license is expired if you don't renew by June 30th or you don't pay that $45 fee, and your license is inactive when you don't affiliate with the BIC or you do not pass or finish your continuing education classes. The different types of business ownership are sole proprietorship, LLC, corporations, and partnerships. All entities that practice real estate need a license, and a license to work on commercial real estate outside of your state lines is a limited commercial broker's license. Well, you did it. You endured another 10 minutes or so of me talking. Congratulations. I just want to say that once I'm done with all of these chapter videos, I'll be making some videos that go into further depth on sales contracts, disclosures, and all kinds of other different types of things. I'll also have their own unique videos on math segments or maybe just one giant math video, not sure yet. But look forward to those after I finish out this entire series. This was Chapter 9, Basic Contract Law, which covers the North Carolina Real Estate Exam. Remember to please hit that subscribe button down below if you want to follow along with the rest of these. I would definitely appreciate it. Also, go ahead and give me a thumbs up while you're at it. I will see you on the next one.